Welcome to the Etsy Conversations podcast, featuring inspiring interviews with Etsy shop owners, hosted by Ijama Elazu.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Etsy Conversations podcast. I'm your host, Ijama, and I thank you for joining me for this episode. My guest this week is Hannah, and she runs the Etsy shop Granny Hannie. We actually first started talking on Instagram, and Hannah, do you mind if I talk about the name of your shop and how?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I thought I was talking to this sweet grandma and everything. And then when we moved over to email and talk about her coming on the podcast, and she mentioned her age, and I thought, wait, what? You're not a grandma? I have to draw a whole new picture of you in my head. So I'm glad that we now get to talk live. Hannah, welcome to the podcast.
Yes, thank you. It's a pleasure. I'm so excited to be chatting with you.
Me too. Okay, so with that intro, I don't want to leave anyone hanging. Can you explain why you named your Etsy shop Granny Hannie?
Yes, absolutely. So I've crocheted and knitted and definitely dabbled in a lot of yarn crafting and just crafting in general since I was younger. My grandma absolutely taught me, and I got really into it in high school as well. And everyone always joked that I was kind of a grandma because me and my best friend, of course, our names are Hannah Montana. We always went to a knitting group at Panera Bread, and it was just this group of little old ladies, and we would go every week and hang out with them, and we were always called grandmas for it. And so I was in college and I wanted to start my own business, and I didn't completely know what I wanted to do with it, but I had gotten into crocheting more, and I was like, I just want that name and it is too good to pass up. So I had to do it. And so that is where Granny Hannie came from. So yes.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you for sharing that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us what you make and sell on Etsy.
So currently, I've kind of dabbled in a few things. So currently, I'm selling beanies as well as a couple of different teacher items. So I'm selling teacher t-shirts with some logos, and also teacher lanyards with breakaway clips on them.
Okay. So for the teacher t-shirts, do you do that as print on demand, or do you do the screen printing yourself?
I do the screen printing myself.
Oh, wow. How did you learn to do that?
Well, so I got a Cricut during quarantine, like so many people, and I just decided to go for it. And I've just kind of picked up different skills along with it as I've grown into my Cricut and my comfortableness, I guess. So I started using heat transfer vinyl, and then I finally gathered the courage to just buy a screen printing kit. And I still use my Cricut to just go with that, and I just kind of taught myself. I watched a few videos, and it turned out to be a lot easier than I thought. So I figured overall screen printing kind of holds up a little bit better through the washes and everything, and I wanted to make sure I was giving that quality product. So that's kind of why I made the switch and how I did it.
Oh, nice. Typically, how long does it take you to turn around a shirt once you get an order for it?
Usually only about 2 to 3 days. The ink needs to sit for about 12 to 24 hours. So it completely, I don't know if this term is right, but like dehydrate, make sure all the moisture is out of it before you heat press it to keep the design in. So it definitely takes a day, but I usually set my processing time for 2 to 3 days, just so I have a little extra buffer in case I am backed up with something else, or if I have something else going on.
Oh, I see.
Mm-hmm.
How do you keep just a certain number of t-shirts as far as colors go in stock, or do you just offer the one color, one style?
Yeah, so I have one color of a crew neck. So I just keep a black crew neck, and then a darker color, like a maroon burgundy color, and then also a mauve color, just since those are kind of the more popular colors that I've been seeing just advertised around. Okay. So I just keep a slight inventory of those, kind of like I worked retail, so I kind of just keep a certain amount of each shirt, and then when I sell out of that, I end up purchasing another. So I always have 2 or 3 of each size on hand, but I only have like 3 different colors.
Okay. Have you found that people will put in requests for specific colors that maybe you don't have on hand?
Well, originally I only did the crew necks and I did get requests for different t-shirts and I took that into consideration too. So that's kind of why I got the burgundy and the more mauve color.
Okay.
I got a couple people saying that they wanted lighter colors and then also specifically burgundy. A lot of people requested. I had made a TikTok about it and that seemed to be kind of the general trend. So I also kind of went with that just based on suggestions.
Okay.
And that's kind of why I added more too.
Oh, I see. Okay. There's so much about TikTok I want to talk to you about. But before we
Yes.
get to that, one of the items that you carry is a TikTok beanie.
Yes.
What's that? I mean, I see it with my eyes, but is that
So,
a thing?
yes. So there is a TikToker and her name is Katie Did, and she also has an Etsy account.
Ah.
And she does all kinds of things. She has amazing crochet patterns and everything, but she originally inspired me for these beanies because she has this like this knitting machine, right? And I saw videos of it and I was just mesmerized by it. And her main one that went viral, like millions of views, she posted it multiple times, millions of views. And it's of this knitting machine. It's a Centro 48 pin knitting machine.
Whoa.
And it's just mesmerizing. It has like a drill attachment and everything on it. So it looks really cool when you're using it and everything. So it's kind of like TikTok bait almost. So yeah, so different people will use that search term, like the TikTok beanie, if they're looking for that specific color, because that was one of the main colors that she had done. So that's kind of one of the things I make sure I include in the title as well as the keywords to make sure it pops up a little bit more in there.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, nice. Okay, because I was just wondering. I had no idea.
Yeah. Yeah. So they blew up on TikTok, and hers, of course, are a little bit different, and they have different colored pom-poms and stuff like that. But as far as search results and stuff like that, that's kind of why I put that in the title.
I see. Okay, great.
And I make them on TikTok too. So I was like, well, they're technically TikTok beanies.
Now, why Etsy? When did you first discover Etsy, and why did you pick that as your platform of choice to sell?
So I actually originally had been interested in about 2017 about Etsy when I had met my coworker. She had an Etsy shop and she absolutely loved it and she spoke very highly of it. And I've always been pretty creative and I kind of thought about it, but I never really, I had the time, but I didn't know how to use it effectively toward running a business. So that in 2019, I kind of decided, I was like, that'd be like a pretty great extra way to earn just an extra side income as a college student. So I kind of got the shop name. I knew that I wanted to start a shop. It was kind of slow going and I didn't really know what I was doing. So in 2019 was when I picked Etsy. And mainly because I knew that I had that friend as a resource for just different advice, support. I think I had gotten the 20 or 40 free listings. I think at the time it was maybe 20 when I first opened my shop, that they do if you refer a friend.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting those free listings and I was like, well, why not? And I know they always say like, hey, it's only 20 cents, but it was literally free. So I couldn't not do it. So I got her some free listings and I did some listings and didn't do a whole ton until, kind of after quarantine, so this summer, kind of June and July. But I picked Etsy mainly because I had learned a lot from my friend and she had great success with it as well.
Yeah. Okay, so 2019, you open your shop and you're testing the waters and still learning. Then 2020 rolls around, COVID hits, we have this global pandemic. How does that affect what you're doing in life and on Etsy, and not like things unrelated to selling on Etsy? When I say life, I mean Etsy stuff.
Yeah. So I actually had lost both of my jobs due to COVID. I was a bartender and I worked in a call center. So I had lost both of those jobs, and it was during the time where unemployment really was not so not so dependable and reliable. So I was like, I got to take matters into my own hands. My friend she was one of the first people on Etsy to start really pushing masks and making masks when Etsy had kind of made that call for Etsy sellers to kind of step in. And so I was like, you know what, like now is a better time than ever to just kind of dive in head first. I kind of had some practice with what I was doing. I was selling custom face masks originally with different local companies, and I was like, you know, like I'm just gonna go on Etsy, I'm gonna fake it till I make it. And it worked. I held my breath, flew by the seat of my pants, got through student teaching, and I used that as my only source of income until I recently got hired as a full-time teacher. So it really was it just came, the timing just kind of came perfectly, and
Yeah.
I just kind of rolled with it. I mean,
Yeah, well, congratulations on what you've been able to do and how you're able to figure things out during the pandemic. I know that it was hard for some people to maneuver through that, you know, just for various reasons. And so, you know, good job just muddling through and making your way through it and you know, doing something constructive and finding success in that. One of the things that I am really impressed with you about is currently you have 10 items in your in your Etsy shop, and you're pushing close to 1,000 sales. And we're talking about things just picking up around the summer of 2020. What did you do to just gain that amount of momentum in that period of time? If there was anything in particular that you think really helped to propel the traction in your store.
Yes. So I think I mentioned this a little bit when we chatted on Instagram, that I've had a couple niche changes, but I've slowly kind of incorporated those in my shop so it doesn't put things at a dead halt. But I originally started kind of with the face masks, and I got I started doing customizable changes the whole Etsy world, let me tell you. And I learned that from a lot of your podcasts. I was like, okay, people want the customization. So
Yeah.
I did customizable bridal face masks, actually, because that was when a lot of restrictions in
Whoa.
at least Ohio were happening for weddings and everything, and I wanted people to be able to feel pretty on their wedding day. And so I kind of did that, and I got one of like those masks as a bestseller, so people were buying them for like their whole bridal parties with them. So I think that's what initially started it, and then it kind of started slowing down, and I dived into Christmas ornaments, and I sold so many Christmas ornaments, and that is pretty much what really propelled my shop, I think, such a way too.
Yeah. So did most of those sales come in Q4?
Yes.
Okay. So why did you I guess Christmas ornaments are seasonal, so it makes sense to blend in other things because they're not, people probably won't be buying them as much throughout the year. How did you decide what product line you were going to use as your next go-to for when the Christmas themed items started to wane?
Yeah, so I mainly wanted to go toward the beanies. I had seen those different TikToks and everything. I had seen it. I saw how fun it was, and I got one of my own, and I knew that that's kind of where I wanted to take it next, was to do something a little bit easier because I was worn out from winter, and I kind of needed to slow down, to be completely honest. So I wanted something that could slowly transition, and I thought that the beanies would be a good transition too, until I was a little bit more stable with job wise, at least. I mean, I'm a teacher, so I don't I have the summers off, so I plan on doing bigger things in the summers. So I kind of wanted something a little smaller, a little less time consuming, because the ornaments were pretty time consuming. So that's kind of why I decided to do the beanies. And then I transferred also to like the lanyards and the teacher t-shirts, because those are pretty easy and pretty quick to make for me, especially working full time. I kind of needed something a little different, and I wanted them all to be kind of related, at least. Help pull more of the crowd I'm aiming for.
Okay. Do you did you pick the teacher crowd because it's an affinity group for you. You understand it. You have insight into what might sell well and what will do well
Yes.
with that audience.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And have you found that when it comes to, because I know something that as sellers we sometimes struggle with is finding the right keywords to put in so that our listings and our products get found for what we want them to be found for. Have you found it's easier to come up with to do the listings and really target them to your audience for the teacher items as opposed to, say, what it was for the Christmas ornaments and now the beanies and
yeah, it's definitely it's been a lot easier for me to find those keywords and even come up with the titles and everything. Just being a part of that crowd, I know who all to include and everything. Like I know the different types of teachers and everything that there are. So even if they're not necessarily looking for like a special education gift or a speech language pathologist gift, you know what I mean? Even if it's not specific, I know that kind of group of people will be looking toward that group of items, and that could pull in a potential customer.
Yeah, I just feel like you're so right. There's a certain insight one gets when you're part of the audience you're targeting. It's like there's some inside information you just know that might be harder to mine using a tool. And the tools are good and helpful, but I just feel like sometimes it's when you're connected to what you're doing in some way, you have an intrinsic leg up.
Yeah, and it's almost like I with the lanyard specifically too. I mean, I am a special education teacher and I obviously know kind of what I use, so I make things that I use and everything. And I was looking for like the perfect lanyard because you have to have something that breaks away. I want my items to be BPA free just in case kids rip it off, put it in their mouth, you know what I mean? So I kind of know what to look for, and that just is marketing itself, just being able to know, hey, I use this product because I know that it's safer for my kids and I couldn't find much like it. So I took matters into my own hands and like, if you want my help kind of, and people seem to respond well to that too. So it was a pretty easy marketing thing, even though it just started as me making an item for myself, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I like that. One of the things, and I might be taking you off track with this, but I like to do research sometimes just to see what's popular and what's trending, you know, what's a potentially good market to go into. And just this weekend, I was doing some research into that just to, you know, for myself to see, okay, what do I want to start selling? What might I want to branch out into? And one of the things that I, found was learning printables, things that help with education. There's such a huge market in education, and now even more so with COVID. Have you considered ways to branch out like that help in your career, but like something in the printables niche where you put in a lot of the work up front, and then after that, it's easier to, it's a self-replenishing product, I guess.
Yes, I actually, and you're kind of the first person I've talked about. I haven't even told my friends or my boyfriend that I've been working on this. So you're the inside scoop here. So I'm actually, I've been doing some research and I've been practicing on a couple different drawings and everything. So I could do an iPad planner. So especially because I'm a special educator, I have a lot of different, just paperwork and progress monitoring and everything to keep track of. So I wanted to do like a digital copy of a planner so I could have all my lesson plans. I could have all of my data, progress monitoring and everything, which is obviously going to be very time consuming, but then selling that as a product, because I know that would help me. And I know that would help so many other people, just coming up with like a digital planner that I can always have on me. And just have with me in the classroom. So I have been thinking about doing different products kind of like that would kind of front load a ton of work, but then I could kind of do like that and have more of a digital component to it.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. And
Mhm.
not to bore everyone else, we can take this offline if you want to. But yes, you're so much on the right track, because that's what I was looking to. And I mean, right now the market for that is so ripe. And to make a really good product, I think you already realize it's going to take a lot of effort upfront,
Yes.
especially if
And
you.
trials, a lot of trials and errors.
Yes, exactly. But when you get that right product, and this is where being connected to the audience that you're creating for helps, because you're a teacher and you're a special ed teacher too. So it's even more niche, and specifically what you need and what other special educators need. And I think, yeah, just coming up with something for yourself that will be beneficial to you. There's a whole audience out there that isn't going to take the time to do it, but will benefit from it, and who will just say, no, just give it to me. I just give it to me. Not give,
Right.
but I'll just pay you for it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and I'm guilty of it too. I mean,
Me
even
too.
today, shoot, I was looking on Teachers Pay Teachers.
Uh-huh.
Teachers can kind of upload different resources for lessons and everything like that,
Yeah.
but they can kind of upload those and just click it. And I needed some like double digit subtraction or addition, and I was like, okay, let me find a cute copy. And I didn't even think twice when I was like, okay, take my $3 or however much it
Yes.
was. So I'm
Yes.
like, man, I should start doing stuff like this. I think it'd be kind of fun to do, and I'd make my own resources too.
Yes, yes. And definitely keep Teachers Pay Teachers in mind. I probably don't even need to tell you this, but one of the things I was reading, because like I said, the niche I was really digging into, which I'm not a teacher and I don't have a teaching background. I mean, I could probably learn how to do something, but I think it's so much easier for someone like you, because you're in it and you
Mhm.
know the pain points. For me, it would be so hard, because I would have to come to you and say, well, Hannah, what are some of the pain points? What are some things you would want? Whereas for you, it would be more intuitive. But
Yeah.
Teachers Pay Teachers in 2019, I think, and I could be botching this number, but it's somewhere around here, posted a profit of something like 30 maybe $1 million. I mean, it was something ridiculously high. Not ridiculous in a bad way, because it's a very good and helpful platform. But
Yeah.
I mean, my eyes bogged out when I saw it. I was
Yeah.
like, what? And if you
Yeah.
look at what's being sold, they're really low priced products, but the audience is so ripe and so big, and it's just a wonderful formula.
Yes, it really is. Yeah, I definitely want to branch out and do a lot of stuff this summer just for passive income
Yeah.
throughout the
The
next year. And I
year.
even uploaded a couple lesson plans and templates that I had done in college. And I mean, I occasionally get a sale or two. I mean, it's only $1 here and there, but
But
um
still.
yeah, if those people, they just put in the art and the time and make
Mm-hmm.
a bundle, and
Yep.
it looks fantastic. And I mean, even me as a teacher, I don't bat an eye when when
Yeah.
I see $2 or $3. So it'd be nice to
Yeah.
pay for my resources I also buy from Teachers Pay Teachers, if nothing else.
Yeah. Now, speaking of teaching, how do you, during the school year, and I know this is kind of new because you've just started a relatively new job for you full time. How are you managing your time now? And when the summer rolls around and you gain back some time during the summer days, how do you anticipate or plan to run your business differently, just to take advantage of that?
Yeah, so I think I mentioned this to you when it was around Christmas time, things got a little out of hand with ornaments, and I
Yes.
was seriously working as soon as I got home from school until probably 10 or 11 at night.
Mm.
Not great at all, and I won't do that again. So I definitely had to set boundaries as far as how long I can stay at school and then how long I give myself to work on things at home.
Yeah.
I usually work like 1 or 2 weekdays, and then the weekend is kind of when I try to do the bulk um of my like sales, and or not my sales, my marketing now.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I can't even talk. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, so I pretty much do most of my Etsy making and crafting during weekend now.
weekends.
So,
Okay.
and I had to switch from that just because it was too much from doing it all, like from Christmas. So I think how I'm gonna definitely change my timing this year is going to definitely be front loading and heavy working on all the Christmas ornaments and basically have all my Christmas stuff set this summer. And I might even start marketing some of it in the summer too, or like late summer,
Mm.
as far as ornaments go, but definitely having that ready so that next year when I'm teaching and I'm stressed and the holidays are coming around, I'm not as stressed
Yeah.
when that time comes around. But it's kind of hard to limit myself when I'm on a break or anything. So
Yeah.
I just kind of do it until I don't want to do it
Yeah.
anymore. So it's kind of how I
Yeah.
how I do it when I'm not in school.
Now, you mentioned marketing, and I really want to talk about what you're doing with branding and marketing because you're doing something that I don't think we've talked about a lot on the podcast. You're on TikTok and Reddit
Yes.
more than most of the people that I've talked to on the podcast. And
Yes.
I only just for the first time, maybe like 2 or 3 months ago, actually downloaded the TikTok app. I would watch the videos, but I'd watch them online. Like, somebody would send a link and I just watch it. But the actual app. Now, how are you using those to help with your branding and your marketing and what you're doing on Etsy?
So how mainly TikTok is me connecting with other teachers because it is my personal account. I don't have a separate personal and business account. So I am connecting with those teachers and I am building those genuine friendships with those. So I interact with their videos. I'm kind of on business TikTok, how they have the algorithm. So like small business and teachers, that's pretty much the crowd that I see their videos and they see my videos. That's kind of the crowd.
Okay.
So
sorry, just to clarify. So based on what you watch, TikTok will serve you up more of the same.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you use certain hashtags or if you search certain hashtags, it all goes into the algorithm to push out the most videos of what you're interested in or what the algorithm thinks you're interested in.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I have really been working hard on building those relationships, and since teaching something that I've been interested in anyway. I mean, obviously I follow a lot of teachers and I see a lot of their tips and everything. So I build those kind of relatable relationships, friendships, and then I also add my business aspect into that as well. So I'm getting the small business people who support and end up boosting my video by like if just by commenting and watching a video the full way through, it helps boost the video. So I've found that small business community is extremely supportive, and most of my teacher friends, since we all support each other, that helps boost it. And a lot of the teachers give me feedback on what they want, even if they're not purchasing. I'll be like, hey, look at these, like color preferences, suggestions, so it gives me that, like the t-shirts, even how I added the t-shirt designs. I posted videos on what people would want to see and what sizes people would want and everything like that to give me a little bit more insight. So I use it for suggestions, and I use it not necessarily as just here's my stuff, you should buy it. I interact with those people and use it to build relationships as well.
Okay. Now on TikTok, is there a limitation to how long your videos can be?
They can be up to a minute.
Okay, up to 1 minute.
Yes.
Okay. Do you find that you're able to get in enough valuable information or communicate well enough with just that 1 minute?
Yes, and actually I try to limit it to about no more than 20 seconds, just because
Really?
Of kind of their algorithm hacks, if that makes sense. I kind of try to limit it so people watch the full video. So when they watch the full video, then you go in. That's why a lot of people on TikTok, they do a lot of part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. They do all these videos because it sucks the viewer in, and then they watch the entire video, they go on to the next one, and you get boosted in the algorithm. So if I can't fit it into that 20 seconds, I honestly usually make another video. So I usually don't even come near the 1 minute mark unless I'm like doing my whole day or something like that, but I don't do that very often.
Oh, okay. So when you do it in 20-second increments, does it then show like Instagram stories where it just shows continuously back to back to back?
Yes.
Okay, I see. And have you compared I don't want to say communities per se, but between Instagram and TikTok, which one do you think is a better use of your time as far as growing your business?
Definitely TikTok. And it kind
Wow.
of seems um I don't know, it's kind of underwhelming by how many views you can get and then how many like sales you get from it. But overall, I think I have definitely gotten more sales from TikTok versus Instagram marketing. And that's kind of why I moved it over, just because I know so many more people are in that category. And maybe it's because I don't have the right crowd on my Instagram or
Mm-hmm.
what have you. But I think overall TikTok has benefited me a little bit more. So that's generally where I spend more time on.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, it kind of makes sense to me because I've been reading and hearing a lot lately that TikTok is where I know initially when people think about TikTok, they probably just think of teenagers making, you
The
know,
dances.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, right. But I've been hearing more and more that businesses, especially businesses that are just starting out and people that feel like, I can't find my footing on Facebook and I can't get my bearings on Instagram. I'm getting lost in the hashtags and nobody's finding me, are finding a home on TikTok because right now, anyway, not too many businesses look at it as a viable place to start and grow a business. But I was reading some case studies about people who are running serious businesses on using TikTok just to share information
Mhm.
and just by making themselves an authority in their field, that opens up doors,
Yeah.
to more.
Mhm. And I was in a similar situation too. I was trying my hardest on Facebook, on Instagram. I was paying
Mm.
for advertising and I wasn't really seeing the results.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, I was nervous of being on camera.
Yeah.
I usually don't like people, I don't like recording myself. So I was nervous to do TikTok and everything. So I was just like, these two options aren't really working for me. And
Yeah.
I wanted more than just like the Etsy ads. So I was like, okay, like I just want another way for my name to get to people and everything, just to kind of brand, to talk to people, communicate with people, and even just get ideas, even if they
Mm-hmm.
don't buy anything. If I could get ideas from the people that are at least in the crowd that I'm kind of aiming
Targeting.
towards,
Right.
then that was good enough for me. So I definitely feel like I kind of found my place by posting there, even
Yeah.
though it seems silly just recording 20-second snippets of packing orders. People like it, people support it, and it's a very supportive community, I found out. And I think people support it more because they know how the algorithm works. If you use TikTok and you see who's on it and you're supporting it, like I said, like the other small businesses, they'll always comment boosting or they'll put hearts on it, and it's a very reciprocative. You know
Yeah,
what I
I
mean?
get what you say. Yes.
Yeah, like it's very wonderful in that way. And it's
Yeah.
definitely it definitely is community over competition. I feel like even if it's people selling the same stuff or similar items,
Yeah.
they're still just as supportive and want to see you succeed, and they'll
Okay.
boost your videos to hopefully meet those customers and the crowd that you want to see it. So
Okay.
but that's kind of why I feel like I found my place there,
There.
like a lot of other people that you were saying.
Have you been on the platform for a while now?
Yes, since about last March I was, but I didn't
Okay.
really start using it until um probably 3 months ago, 2 or 3 months ago, if I had to guess, like actually making videos and putting time into doing that sort of thing.
Okay. And on TikTok, nothing is live, right? Everything is recorded and posted.
You can actually do live if you have 1,000 followers. I've never
Okay.
done it,
Mm.
but I've heard that you could. I thought you had to get to 10,000, but apparently it was 1,000. I was already at that mark, and I was like, I kind of chickened out, and I don't know. I haven't done live on that.
Hannah.
I've done live on Reddit.
Wait, did you say you went live on Reddit?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, I think that's even more intimidating than TikTok.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I guess I feel like I watch the people on my TikTok lives and I'm like, man, I don't know if I could do that. But Reddit community. They have specific crafting communities and stuff. So
Yeah.
I don't know why the TikTok one intimidates me so much.
Yeah. So Reddit too is another platform that a lot of people don't think of going to for promotion. And there's a good reason too, because on Reddit, I know they're very particular about self-promotion and,
Yes.
pushing stuff, and, you will get beaten down verbally if you cross the wrong lines. So,
Right.
so
Yeah.
what do you do there? Do you just go for the community?
Yes. So they started a regular community for RPAN, I think it is, and that's the overall, like, you can go live on Reddit type thing. But
Mm.
I usually stream on the artist studio, so there's people painting, there's people like crocheting,
Oh,
knitting, anything you can imagine, just anything artsy. You can go on there and kind of show your craft that way.
oh, okay.
So I'll go on and I'll even make custom listings when I am live on Reddit, and so I'll give people the option to have their beanies made live and that sort of thing.
Wow. Wow. That's almost like
Yeah.
Twitch, except
Yeah.
not gaming.
Yes. I got a Twitch account. I secured the name on Twitch. I've just been a little too busy to like have a streaming schedule, and if I do Twitch, I definitely want to have like a consistent schedule that I can
Yeah.
tell followers, just because it is a little bit more structured in my opinion.
Yeah.
But if I'm just crafting or like screen printing some shirts, I'll go live on Reddit at least for like 20 minutes. I feel like it's not as much of a time commitment as Twitch usually is, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. It does. When you do something like that, do you film your full self doing it, or do you just film your hands doing the action?
It kind of depends. Usually I've noticed that people don't interact as much if I don't I don't know, people don't really interact as much if your full body isn't in it. Like if it's just your hands doing something, people don't generally interact as much. So
Okay.
I usually try to put myself in it, and I think it's just because they want that personality. And it's
Yeah.
not that people don't watch it, but it does make it a little bit more entertaining when they can see your facial expression. So when people can kind of see your reactions and see your body, they generally like react a little bit more, that I've noticed. So that's what I try to do.
Okay. Wow. I like that you're not limiting or confining yourself to some of the usual social media platforms that most of us just tend to gravitate to because we think everyone else is there and everyone else is making it work. And not that they don't, but it's nice to hear about other platforms and what other people are doing on them, and what's working, what isn't working, and what their experiences are. So I'm glad to talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's been kind of scary going to all different ones, and especially even like Reddit. I had never even been on Reddit, and I was trying to build my karma points, like frantically commenting and stuff. My brother convinced me to go live, and I was like, I'm trying, I don't Reddit. So I had to get my Reddit points to be able to stream. But yeah, so I didn't completely know what I was doing, but I was like, okay, I may as well just try and get my name out there and just try different things and have fun with it.
Now, when you do stream on Reddit, is it like going live on Instagram or Facebook, where you go live as yourself in your account, or do you go into one of the discussion threads and you just start filming yourself? How does it work on Reddit?
Yeah, so it's kind of like you go into a discussion thread. People can still see your name. So if they go to your profile, they can see the different videos that you've posted, and they can refer back to older ones. Or so you basically have to pick a community to go live in, whether it's the RPAN. I think there's a few different ones. I think there's probably about 20, just thinking about like scrolling how many there are. There's the artist studio, which that's the one that I usually am in. And there's a few other ones that I'm not completely sure what all of them are, but there's a few different communities, and you pick the community that fits like kind of your niche or whatever community you want to watch your videos, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
And I think it's like a gaming one too. So you go live in there. You do go as your account so people can see your Reddit account and they can
Okay.
either friend you, add you as a friend, or message you or what have you. But then you
Okay.
can also like they can still go to your profile and that live is posted, if that makes sense. Kind of like how Facebook ends up posting the live on your profile. It kind of
Yeah.
does like that. So even though you're in the community, people can still refer back to you to see your streams.
Okay. Oh
Mhm.
wow. Okay. It sounds a lot more social than it has been in the past.
Yes, yeah, and it's really nice having that like kind of live conversation too,
Mm.
um, and to just kind of wing it. And I put music on the background, just like lo-fi, non like no copyright music, just on in the background, just in case
Yeah.
people want to have a conversation. And I'll
Okay.
just do what I normally do, but yeah, it for the most part people talk a lot, and like I said, when it's usually just my hands, I put on music, and people usually don't talk too much. Uh,
Yeah.
but if it's me, people usually tend to talk a little bit more. So
Okay. Yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense. Like if you don't see the person's face, you don't know
Mhm.
who you're talking to. Like nobody talks to hands.
Right,
So
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Oh, nice. Interesting. Okay, good. That you're the wheels are turning in my head. I mean,
Yes, it's
I,
fun, and I don't know, it's intimidating and everything, but
yeah.
it's fun to at least try out, and why not try different things and meet new people? I've met
Yeah.
people doing it too.
Do you do any other type of promotion of your shop? Like, have you tried Etsy ads and
Yes, yeah,
mhm.
I did Etsy ads, especially in the fall and the winter. In the fall, I did a decent bit, and during the holiday season, I did a lot as well. And I actually was doing a little bit more than I had anticipated, like in the like the past couple months since after holiday kind of sizzled down and everything. I was actually doing a little bit more than I thought I was, and I was paying it, obviously. But I did notice that it not many people are actually like shopping, so it was kind of killing my conversion by
Mhm.
having all these people viewing my items and not purchasing them.
Yeah.
Notice people just are browsing more so right now. So I shut my Etsy ads to just like $1 to $5 even, just
Mhm.
so it's still pushing a little bit, but it's not breaking my bank by killing my conversion and everything like that. Just since
Yeah.
it seems to be a lot of people just browsing now.
Yeah. And just for anyone who's listening and you're wondering why Hannah might be concerned about her conversion rates getting messed up or skewed, your the Etsy search algorithm takes into account your conversion rate and determines the popularity of your items. And so if you have a lower conversion rate, it's interpreted as less popular, and so you don't rank as high in Etsy search. But if your conversion rates are high, what that says to Etsy is, oh, a lot of people who a large number of people who come and look at this product, they click on it, they look at it, and then they buy it. So this is good. Let's show it to more people so that more people can see it, so that more people can buy it. And if that's not happening, Etsy says, okay, people are seeing this and they're not really loving it. Let's not show it too much. Let's just give them more of the things that we do know that they're seeing and loving and buying. So that's why
Yes.
you want your conversion rates to stay high. That was just for anybody who was wondering.
Yes. Yeah, that is very important. I worked retail, and I sometimes I forget not everybody
Yeah,
even
yeah.
thinks
Oh no,
it.
it's good. So right now, is Etsy solely where you are? You don't have any website outside of Etsy. This is where all the magic is happening.
Yes, I do post on Facebook Marketplace. I found out how to do like the shipping because I wasn't having much luck with local sales only, and I was
Mhm.
nervous about the shipping. But I did open up like Facebook Marketplace, and I've gotten a few sales on there. But my main place where I do my sales is still Etsy.
Okay. How how did you find getting set up on Facebook Marketplace? I was reading. I do too much reading. I was reading about the Facebook. Sorry, not Facebook Marketplace. That's different. Facebook Shops, which is different from the Marketplace. And when Facebook released those, this article I read was really interesting because it said they set them up. Facebook developed their shops to be in direct competition with Etsy shops. Like they wanted Etsy sellers to come over. That was the basis of setting up the Facebook shops. And there's an integration actually that you can do between Facebook shops and your Etsy shop to just kind of suck everything over in there. But
wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because they're trying to get in the game because Etsy stock is doing really well at the time we're having this conversation. Anyway, I don't know what it will be doing, later on down the road. And so, there are other companies that are looking at the model and want in on that action. Wall Street, everybody wants to win. So I think that's why they decided to get in the game. And so that was that. But that's not what you tried. You tried the marketplace, not the shops.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard of the shops. On Marketplace it gives you the option to do shipping for the option. So that's just what I've been doing, and I'll list whatever I'm selling. So I haven't looked into the shops or heard of it. So that might be something worth looking into as well, especially if you can integrate it.
Yeah. So they kind of did the release quietly because they released it during the pandemic, and I think they were trying to not be so gauche about it, here we are, Facebook, and we have a new product for, that's going to make us even more money. I think they were trying to avoid that because this happened during the pandemic. So it was kind of a quiet release and, just like hush, hush. Hey, Etsy guys, we have these shops here if you want to. That's in my head. That's just how how it went down in my head.
Like, by the way.
Yeah. That was the whole scenario I made up. But yeah, so it wasn't a big, loud release. And I'm thinking that, when things get back to whatever our new normal will be and things get back to business as usual, they will probably come out swinging a bit more enthusiastically.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, do you ever find that you get into a creative rut and you're just not getting any ideas for new designs to make or even new product lines? And how do you bring yourself out of those?
Yeah, so it usually happens when I'm making the same thing over and over again, like the ornaments. I'll get in a rut where I'm like, okay, this has gone really, really well, but I just don't have the motivation or the energy to even think of something. And I almost have imposter syndrome about creating new products. And I'm like, I had this one good item, and what if people still don't like them? And I feel like I'm in this place. I grew pretty rapidly, so I wasn't really expecting it, I guess. And I'm like, what if the next thing I do just flops? And so I always second guess what I'm making, and I debate for weeks and weeks, and I'm like, I'm just gonna do it. Like the knitting machine, even, for example, I waited 4 months until I bought it, not because I didn't want to buy the machine or whatever. I just was too nervous to make that commitment and everything. So it's usually when something's going well, actually, surprisingly, that's kind of when I get in my little ruts. And then I kind of have to remind myself, I'm like, okay, no, we got to keep moving. We got to keep building. And even though I don't want this to be my complete full-time thing, I love being a teacher. I definitely want to keep doing it because it's a way that I can at least pay for my hobby. If it just pays for my hobby and to have fun, I'm happy about that, So, yeah, it's usually when I kind of remind myself that, hey, it's your hobby, just figure out something you love, and hey, if people don't like it, then you can always move on and just keep what you did. I could always hang whatever I made in my house or whatever.
Yes. Yeah.
So I kind of try reminding myself about that.
I think
when
that's a good outlook to have and a good perspective to put on what you're doing, because sometimes we can be hard on ourselves when, we feel like, something should be successful and it isn't, or it is,
Mhm.
and we wonder why, because we just don't think that, what we're doing has, the holds the type of value that it actually does. And so to have a healthy perspective and view of what you're doing is really important. Would you say there are, or not would you say, but are there any pitfalls that you've run into while selling on Etsy that made you realize maybe you weren't doing something the right way, and then you figured out a better way to do that?
Yes. I briefly mentioned that I opened my shop in 2019 and I definitely did not do it well. I had very horrible lighting and just really not put together setups for my pictures, and I didn't know how to price anything, and I didn't know how to I wasn't really advertising. I was advertising on my then new Instagram that kind of matched my name, but nobody knew of my name, so no one was like looking at my posts. I didn't know how to use the hashtags to market on Instagram. I didn't use all the keywords on Etsy. I didn't use the title effectively. So I definitely have run into that. And once I decided that I really wanted to take it a little bit more seriously, I obviously reached out to my friend who had a successful business, and I started listening to your podcasts and everything. So you really taught me the way, you guys. You really saved me and taught me the way to kind of fix what I was doing wrong and align things, and even just like topic ideas too, just for inspiration.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Hannah. That does make me feel happy.
Yes.
But your success is your success. The time, the effort, the retooling, when you figure things out, it's, really all you, and it's very impressive what you've done. And I don't know if I mentioned this already, but right now you have 10 items in your shop.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that because you're working, that helps you just maintain just control over how much work you get from the shop and all whatnot. Yes. What are your thoughts on having, I don't know if you've heard, around the Etsy community, there's, a theory that says you have more listings in your shop. And I know I've even said it on the podcast, because it just gives people more opportunities to find you. Is that something that you buy into, or no?
It is to an extent. I found it's easier, just personally easier for me to manage when I have it on multiple listings. And then I've had success with things being best-selling items with like the multiple customization options. Yeah. So instead of offering a black face mask and a white face mask in two different options, I just put it as one, and then that overall listing got boosted to a bestseller, which obviously boosted it a little bit more in people's search results. And same thing for the Christmas ornaments. Like I did one set of reindeer ornaments, and I did different hook options and different colors for the inside. And I just made one main listing that ended up getting listed as a bestseller. So I think as long as you provide enough pictures and also provide that opportunity for customization, I always put like a little blurb in my descriptions that if you want any customization, like items, I'm more than willing to do that. So yeah. I instead of having like as many custom name options, so it confuses myself, it kind of helps me to limit that a little bit as well.
Okay. And so when you say you put them as one, just to be clear, so instead of having two separate products, two separate listings of something similar but different colors, you make them one listing and then give people the option to select what variations they want.
Yes. Yes,
okay.
Exactly.
Okay. And that saves money too, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good idea. I like that. Are there any particular tools that you use or resources that you find particularly helpful in just running your business?
Honestly, TikTok. And I know I've been on my TikTok spiel a lot, but
Yeah, yeah.
man, people these days, they have great ideas and I want to hear all of them. So, and I
Nice.
can get all that information in like 15 to 60 seconds. So it's not, I mean, it ends up being more time consuming than I'd like to admit. However, but if I just have like 5 minutes or something on my break and I want
Yeah.
to look up a couple ideas, like you can usually look up a hashtag or look up like just crafting as a hashtag or business hashtags and the like small business, and you can get a lot of cool ideas. Like I found a lot of people were making stickers with their Cricut and the machines, but once I found out that you can like outsource those, it's so much more cheaper, and it's more cost effective, and it's a more durable product and everything, even though you're designing them. Just things like that, like outsourcing different packaging ideas, um and everything like that. I've found a lot of success on TikTok, just like following people that have similar interests as me, and they have really good ideas, and we just kind of share ideas. So that's where I get a lot of inspiration from, and also a couple of Facebook groups as well. I'm in um, a couple Cricut Facebook groups as well. That
Okay.
really helped with any questions or anything like that.
Yeah. I need to figure out how to use TikTok well and not just for the funny videos.
Yes, yes. The funny videos are a perk, though.
They are. But I think there's a gold mine I'm missing out on.
Yes, yes, it is. It's a great thing.
Yeah. Hannah, what would you say to a seller who is relatively new, or maybe perhaps a fellow teacher who is considering setting up a shop or to a side business to get more income? What advice would you have for that person looking back on your own experience?
Definitely go towards something that you love doing and that you would use yourself, because I mean I decorate with my items, I use my items, and overall that's given me better ideas for what I want. If I don't want to use it myself, then why would someone else want to use it, you know? So
Yeah.
really using what you do and what you're passionate about, to start your business is a great place to start. I loved crocheting, so I crocheted different things to start out with, and as my interests changed and everything, I ended up changing my niche a couple times, but it always worked with my interests and everything. So I think just starting with something that really interests you and that you're passionate about doing, I think that is a great place to start with it.
Wonderful. Thank you. That does help a lot too. And I think doing that also helps. Like, let's say you do make something you enjoy and you like, and nobody else in the world wants to buy it. Well, you have it then. So
Yeah, you like it. And if you don't like it, someone else might, if you want to donate it even.
yeah. Oh, and speaking of donations, you do donations.
Yes.
How does that work?
So for I don't do it through a specific like online type thing. I just do it with a local organization, but for every beanie I sell, I am donating to a local shelter that helps cancer patients. So they provide like wigs, hats, beanies. So I figured out a way to donate those beanies, like figure out a way to incorporate the beanies and donate them that way.
Oh,
And I've
nice.
done things too with donating to a local like school program. It's the I Promise program with LeBron James.
Yeah.
I sold specific keychains that were kind of toward that crowd. So I'll just make a donation in their name after, or in it'll be like in my shop's name, just after a certain period of time. I just have like a window open, and I'll donate if I get that. So I like to help
Yes.
out the community. I mean, I think it gives people that sense of a feel good, like a feel good sense buying, and it also gives me that feel
Yeah.
good sense that I can make a difference even just with my like hobby, you know?
Yeah. No,
Mhm.
I do. And I think that's important. I think it's good work that you're doing, and not for any other reason, but sometimes I just feel like, when people genuinely give back from what they've got, it just comes back around. It's like a circle of giving and of
Yeah,
goodness. And so
yeah.
good job.
Thank you.
Do you have an Etsy shop shout out? I'm guessing you do. The person who inspired you to open up your shop. At least I'm hoping
Yes.
that at least she will be one of your
Yes.
shout outs.
Yes, so she actually has two shops. She is moving from Stylish Geek to Hecate's Boutique. Her name is Julia. And also another friend too who just opened up an Etsy shop. Her Etsy shop name is McKay Crafts, and we all kind of worked in the same spot too, so it was pretty cool. But she started marketing on TikTok too, and her shop already is going strong. I think she opened up like 2 weeks ago and she already has 50 sales or something. So she's doing awesome.
What?
But
Just from what she's doing on TikTok?
yes, yeah, absolutely.
Oh my goodness. Okay,
She's
tell me
selling
the
these
names
adorable-
again. Julia's shops are Stylish Geek
Yes.
and
Julia's is Stylish Geek and Hecate's Boutique, like the god, the Greek god Hecate.
oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know that. Can you spell
No.
the name of that Greek god?
Yeah, it's Hecate. It's Hecate. It has to do with Greek mythology, but she sells, that's kind of her niche, is she sells a lot of Greek mythology typed jewelry and everything like
okay.
that.
So it's
Mhm.
Hecate's shop.
Boutique.
Hecate's Boutique. Okay.
Mhm.
I need to, all the reading I do, I need to go and read some Greek mythology.
Me too.
And
She's
then,
taught me a lot, but I still have a lot to learn, and I'm not completely sure about everything. But
and then the
there's
other
still
shop was
learning.
McKay Crafts.
Yeah, McKay Crafts, MIKAYCRAFTS.
Okay. And who runs that shop again? What's her name?
Her name is Michaelin.
Michaelin. Okay. All right. So I just wanted to make sure I got the names right, because I want to link to both Julia and Michaelin's shops so folks can go and check them out and check out what they're doing. And hopefully there'll be a link to Michaelin's TikTok so people can see what she's doing on TikTok as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for you, what's the best way people can connect with you or check out what you're doing?
Either messaging on my shop or messaging on Instagram. So my shop is grannyhannie.etsy.com. It's Hannie with an IE at the end. And then my Instagram as well. It's granny_hannie.etsy for Instagram.
Okay. And your TikTok.
Oh, my TikTok, it is just granny_Hannie.
I'm like, we talk too much about TikTok. I can't believe she's not mentioning that.
Yes, TikTok is granny_Hannie.
Okay. All right. So I will have links to everywhere that you can find and connect with Hannah. And I'll put those in the show notes over at convome.com so folks can check out what you're doing and connect with you and hopefully start forming a bond or creating community around what you're doing and buying your beanies too. And for teachers, your lanyards and t-shirts and all whatnot. So I'll have everywhere where you can check out what Hannah is doing. Hannah, thank you so much for being my guest on the podcast. And I've so enjoyed talking to you. Thank you for opening my eyes even more up to TikTok. I do think it's not fully tapped and a good place to go, and not to give people one more social media outlet to go and try and get on. But I think it's worth checking out. So thank you for sharing all what you're doing. I really appreciate you taking the time out to talk with me.
Yeah, of course. I appreciate all of your podcasts, and I hope that even this helps one person. I know your podcasts and so many other amazing Etsy sellers inspired me and gave me the courage to do it. So I hope other people get something out of it too.
I'm sure they will. I thank you for listening to the podcast. Show notes will be over at convome.com, and all my contact information is there as well. I thank you for listening to this episode of the podcast. I will be back with another one next week.
Thank you for listening. You can subscribe to the podcast in iTunes, and while you're there, please leave a review too. Visit convome.com to leave a comment or feedback on this episode.